There comes a point in your life when the weight of everything you've ever wanted presses down on you like iron. And for the first time you realize something. Nobody is coming to save you. You're standing in the middle of your life, surrounded by chaos, surrounded by expectations, surrounded by the noise of everyone else's opinions, and you either rise or you collapse. People think they know you. They think they've figured out your limits. They assume they understand your story because they've seen fragments of it, but they have no idea what you carry. They have no idea how many times you kept moving when everything inside you wanted to stop. They don't know the nights you stayed awake, questioning your worth, questioning your path, questioning whether you would ever become the person you kept seeing in your mind. They weren't there for the moments that almost broke you, the moments where you whispered to yourself, "Just one more day. Don't quit yet." They don't know how many times you stood back up when nobody even noticed you had fallen. You saw darkness. You walked through it alone. And somehow, that darkness became the place where you learned who you really were. Because the truth is this: the world tests the people it plans to elevate. It breaks the weak so it can reveal the strong. It strips everything away from you until the only thing left is your will. And the moment you realize that your will is stronger than everything that tried to destroy you, that's the moment you become unstoppable. You weren't given easy battles because you weren't built for an easy life. You were given storms, challenges, losses, betrayals, setbacks, because inside you is something the world wasn't prepared for, something sharper, something colder, something unbreakable. You didn't fail, you evolved. You started to understand that the real enemy wasn't the world around you, it was the voice inside your head. The voice that tried to convince you to settle, the voice that said you weren't ready, the voice that pulled you toward comfort every time you wanted to grow. You didn't realize it at the time, but every battle you fought was a battle against the weaker version of you, the one who wanted the success but didn't want the responsibility, the one who wanted the outcome but didn't want the process, the one who wanted the reward but didn't want the pain. But then something changed, slowly, quietly, powerfully. You stopped negotiating with your weakness. You stopped allowing your feelings to decide your future. You stopped waiting for the perfect moment. You stopped relying on motivation and started relying on discipline. Because motivation is emotional. Motivation disappears. Motivation fades the moment discomfort arrives. But discipline is the weapon that turns average people into legends. Discipline is the thing that shows up when you don't feel like moving. Discipline is the thing that doesn't care how tired you are, how stressed you are, how overwhelmed you are. Discipline has one job: build the life you said you wanted. And when you finally chose discipline, when you finally chose structure over excuses, everything began to shift. You started moving differently. You started thinking differently. You started seeing the world through a colder, clearer lens. You started understanding that consistency is the rarest form of power on the planet. Anyone can start. Anyone can dream. Anyone can announce their plans. But only a tiny percentage of people will show up again and again and again until the dream becomes inevitable. That's who you became. Someone who outlasts. Not because you were the strongest, not because you were the fastest, not because you were the most talented, but because you refused to stop. Your resilience became your identity. Your persistence became your advantage. Your willingness to stay in the fight became your edge. You became the one thing the world can't defeat. Someone who keeps going. But elevation has a price, and the world made sure you paid it. You lost people along the way. Some walked away quietly. Some left loudly. Some didn't support you. Some didn't believe in you. Some loved the old version of you, but couldn't handle the new one. And it hurt. It broke pieces of you that you didn't know could break. But that pain was necessary. That loss was part of the path. You can't rise while holding on to things that were built for the older version of you. You can't evolve while staying loyal to comfort. You can't grow into your future while clinging to your past. So you let go. And the moment you let go, something inside you unlocked. You stopped begging for validation. You stopped explaining yourself. You stopped seeking approval. You stopped needing to be understood. You started moving in silence. You started building in the dark. You started choosing solitude over noise. You started focusing on the mission instead of the opinions. Your progress became your language. Your consistency became your presence. Your silence became your armor. And while you were evolving quietly, the world began to notice something different about you. Not because you were loud, not because you announced your growth, but because your energy changed, your posture changed, your eyes changed. You carried yourself like someone who had seen the edge and stepped back stronger, like someone who no longer feared being alone, like someone who wasn't desperate, just determined. People don't understand the strength of someone who survived what should have destroyed them. They don't understand the calm of someone who walked through storms and came out dry. They don't understand the confidence of someone who rebuilt themselves from nothing. They don't understand the silence of someone who no longer needs the world's permission to become powerful. They only see the results. They never see the grind. They didn't see the nights you doubted yourself but worked anyway. They didn't see the mornings you woke up exhausted but still showed up. They didn't see the sacrifices you made in private. They didn't see the tears you never spoke about. They didn't see the days you thought about giving up but didn't. That's why your story feels different. That's why your strength feels heavy. That's why your presence feels undeniable, because you earned this version of you. There is a shift that happens when you stop living for approval and start living for purpose. You speak less, you observe more. You act with intention. You protect your time, you protect your energy. You choose quality over quantity. You choose clarity over chaos. You choose growth over comfort. You choose becoming over belonging. Your future has been calling you for years. You felt it in every moment of restlessness, in every dream you couldn't shake, in every vision that refused to leave your mind. In every moment your soul whispered, "There's more." That wasn't imagination. That wasn't coincidence. That was direction. You were being pulled toward the life that was built for you, the life that only the strongest version of you can hold. And now you're stepping into it. You are becoming undeniable. Not talented, not impressive, not lucky. Undeniable. Undeniable work ethic, undeniable focus, undeniable discipline, undeniable resilience, undeniable presence, undeniable execution. When you become undeniable, the world has no choice but to respond. Opportunities stop being optional. Success stops being accidental. Results stop being delayed. Everything becomes inevitable. And as you rise, understand something. People will fear what they cannot break. They will misunderstand you. They will judge you. They will whisper. They will pull away. They will call you cold, intense, obsessive, different. Let them. They only call you a monster because they couldn't break you. You didn't fold. You didn't crumble. You didn't run. You didn't give up. You stood your ground. You endured. You evolved. You sharpened. You rebuilt. And now you rise. Not for applause, not for validation, not for acceptance, but because it is your nature to rise. You are not here to blend in. You are not here to follow. You are not here to shrink. You are not here to apologize for your ambition. You are here to build. You are here to lead. You are here to conquer. You are here to become the person your past self prayed you would become. Your old life couldn't hold you. Your old habits couldn't sustain you. Your old environment couldn't contain you. Your old identity couldn't reflect you. You've outgrown everything that kept you small. Now you step forward, calm, sharp, focused, faceless, untouchable. This is your rise. This is your moment. This is your evolution. This is your transformation. This is the chapter where you stop surviving and start building your kingdom. And everything that once tried to break you will become the reason you never break again. Because here's the truth most people refuse to face. You're not just fighting for success, you're fighting for your soul. You're fighting for the part of you that was buried under years of doubt, Years of fear, years of being underestimated, years of playing small so the world wouldn't feel threatened. You're fighting for the version of you who once believed anything was possible, before life piled disappointment on top of disappointment, before responsibility crushed your imagination, before you forgot the fire you were born with. That fire didn't die, it just got quiet. But it's still there, waiting for oxygen, waiting for commitment, waiting for you to stop shrinking long enough to let it breathe again. And the moment you choose to stop running from yourself, your life becomes unrecognizable. Not instantly, not magically, but inevitably. Because the world bends for people who are willing to bend themselves first. You think champions were born relentless? No, they were forged by pressure. Pressure built their patience. Pressure built their clarity. Pressure built their discipline. Pressure built their identity. Pressure shows you whether your excuses are stronger than your purpose. And you, right now, are standing at the threshold between who you were and who you're meant to become. The question is no longer, are you capable? The question is, are you willing? Are you willing to work after the world goes to sleep? Are you willing to build when nobody praises you? Are you willing to grow when nobody sees it? Are you willing to be misunderstood? Are you willing to be alone for a while? Are you willing to sacrifice comfort for the kind of future that demands a stronger version of you? Because destiny doesn't hand itself to the emotional, it hands itself to the committed. Your dreams don't respond to moods, they respond to consistency. And most people never reach their potential because they mistake hard moments for wrong paths. The second adversity hits, they assume they're not meant for it. They fold, they quit, they retreat back to the familiar, back to the comfortable, back to the life they secretly can't stand. But you are different. You wouldn't be listening to this if you weren't. Deep down, you feel something most people never feel, a pull, a tug on your soul that won't let you settle, won't let you stay where you are, won't let you numb yourself with distractions or pretend you're satisfied when you know you're not. That pull is your future self trying to reach you, trying to remind you that you were built for more, trying to remind you of the life waiting for you if you're willing to fight for it. But hear this clearly. The version of you that achieves everything you want is not the version of you listening right now. You're going to have to shed layers. You're going to have to outgrow people. You're going to have to delete habits. You're going to have to bury insecurities. You're going to have to let go of the identity that was shaped by fear instead of purpose. There is a cost to becoming powerful. There is a cost to becoming undeniable. There is a cost to becoming unstoppable. And the cost is simple. You must kill the version of you that settles. You must bury the version of you that needs permission. You must erase the version of you that overthinks. You must silence the version of you that breaks easily. You must outgrow the version of you that chooses comfort. You must destroy the version of you that keeps waiting for a better time. There is no better time. There is only now. And the world will not wait for you. Opportunities will not wait for you. Time will not wait for you. Life does not pause because you're scared. Every day you hesitate, someone with half your talent and none of your excuses moves past you. Every day you delay, someone less capable takes the spot that was meant for you. Every day you choose comfort, you lose ground you'll wish you hadn't. And one day, not today, not tomorrow, but one day, you will look back and realize one of two things. Either you paid the price of discipline, or you paid the price of regret. And regret is the most expensive pain on earth. It shows up late. It shows up quietly. It shows up when you can't do anything about it. It shows up when the window of opportunity has already closed, and it whispers in your ear. You could have had that life, but you chose comfort instead. But you, right now, have a chance to rewrite that ending. You think you've seen your potential. You haven't. You've barely scratched the surface. The version of you that the world will never forget is still hidden behind discipline you haven't committed to yet, behind habits you haven't mastered yet, behind pain you haven't faced yet, behind work ethic you haven't unleashed yet. You don't need more talent, you don't need more time, you don't need more motivation, you need one thing, a decision. A decision that you will no longer live like the world owns you. A decision that you will no longer betray your future self for temporary comfort. A decision that you will no longer dim your light so others feel less insecure. A decision that you will no longer settle for almost. A decision that you will no longer negotiate with weakness. A decision that you will no longer apologize for wanting more. Because the moment you decide, truly decide, everything changes. Your energy changes, your presence changes, your confidence changes, your identity changes, your possibilities change. Life responds differently to the person who moves with conviction. And the world can feel it. It feels the shift, it feels the pressure, it feels the power. You stop being one of them and become one of one. You stop being a follower and become a force. You stop being predictable and become profound. This is what evolution feels like. It feels heavy, it feels lonely, it feels uncomfortable, it feels unfamiliar, but it is necessary. Because you are not just building a life, you are building a version of you that your future family will never have to recover from. You are breaking generational patterns. You are raising the standard. You are rewriting your destiny. You are choosing to become someone that your younger self would cry tears of pride over. This is the journey, not glamorous, not easy, not always rewarding in the beginning, but powerful beyond measure. And if you stay in this process long enough, everything you once chased will begin chasing you. But listen, there comes a point in every person's journey when the excuses no longer make sense. When the lies you've been telling yourself for years start to taste stale. When your own reflection begins to ask harder questions than the world ever could. That is the moment most people run from, but you won't. Because the ones who rise are the ones who decide that discomfort is no longer a threat, it's a requirement. You have to understand something now. You are not fighting the world, you are fighting the version of you that's been allowed to survive for too long. The lazy version, the distracted version, the untrained, undisciplined, maybe tomorrow version. You can bury that version today, or drag it with you for the rest of your life. You choose. Because everything you want, the discipline, the confidence, the money, the freedom, the transformation, it's all built on the same foundation. Showing up when you don't feel like it. Every champion you admire, every icon you look up to, every name carved into history, they all became who they are because of the days they wanted to quit, but didn't. Those days define you more than any success ever will. Think about that. Anyone can perform when they feel inspired. Anyone can act when the motivation is high. But the ones who break through, they move when they're tired. They build when no one claps. They push when the world is silent. And that's where you're heading, into the territory where average people never go. Because average people get uncomfortable and pull back. But you lean forward. You dig deeper. You take control of the wheel and steer your life with intention. This world responds to strength, not the loud strength, not the arrogant strength, but the quiet strength, the strength of a person who refuses to abandon themselves. That strength turns storms into stepping stones. That strength turns pressure into progress. That strength builds an unshakable identity. And once you have that identity, everything changes. You stop negotiating with distractions. You stop entertaining chaos. You stop letting the smallest things steal the biggest pieces of your future. You start to build with precision. You start to protect your discipline the way a king protects a kingdom. You start to realize that the life you want is not just possible, it's waiting for you to grow into it. Let me tell you something important. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not stuck. You are exactly where your discipline has placed you, and you are capable of placing yourself somewhere entirely different. But that requires honesty, brutal honesty. It requires admitting that some habits you've carried for years are quietly draining your potential, that some environments you tolerate are poisoning your ambition, that some people you keep close only feel comfortable when you stay small, and that the life you want will demand sacrifices the old you is terrified to make. But you're not the old you anymore. Look at where you're standing. Look at how far you've come. Look at the storms you survived, storms that would have destroyed a weaker version of you. You think that happened for no reason? No, you were being sharpened, you were being tested, You are being prepared for a life with more weight, more responsibility, more greatness. The universe does not prepare someone for nothing. If you are being stretched, it's because something bigger is coming. If you are being challenged, it's because something greater is on the other side. If you feel pressure, congratulations. Pressure is the birthplace of transformation. You don't grow in comfort. You don't evolve through ease. You don't rise without resistance. You rise because of it. So breathe, steady your mind, return to your discipline like it's sacred. Hold your standards like a shield. Move through your days like someone who knows they are building something far beyond the present moment. Because you are. And soon, the results will expose the work you've been doing in silence. Your life will shift in ways that make people ask, "How did you do it?" And you will smile, not because you're arrogant, but because you know the truth. They'll never fully understand the nights you carried yourself through, the mornings you forced yourself to rise, the battles you fought that no one ever witnessed. But that's the beauty of discipline. It's invisible until it's undeniable. And your moment of undeniability is coming, step by step, day by day, rep after rep, choice after choice. You are crafting the future version of yourself that you've always dreamed of becoming. And when that version finally meets you, everything, every sacrifice, every struggle, every silent night of effort will make sense. You're not done. You're not even close. This is your era. Now keep going.
Because the truth is, most people never make it this far. Most people feel the pressure and collapse. They taste a little discomfort and run back to what's familiar. They whisper to themselves that someday they'll try again, not realizing that someday is the graveyard where potential is buried. But you didn't do that. You didn't break. You didn't fold. You stood in the fire and let it forge you. And because of that, something inside you has awakened, something that refuses to let you go back to who you were before. Feel it, really feel it, that pull in your chest, that whisper inside your mind that says, keep going. That's not motivation, that's identity shifting. You've stepped into a version of yourself that can no longer tolerate the things that used to distract you. Meaningless habits, wasted time, people who drain your energy instead of honoring it, environments that suffocate your ambition. You are outgrowing them, and you should. Growth demands separation. Elevation demands isolation. Transformation demands solitude. When a person is meant to rise, life removes everything that can't come with them. And it feels lonely at first, until you realize the silence is where your power gathers. Think of every titan in history, every legend, every giant, every undeniable force. Their greatness was built during seasons where no one understood them, where no one believed in them, where no one could see what they saw. Your season is no different. You are not supposed to be understood right now. You are supposed to be evolving. This is the part of your story where your discipline becomes your closest ally, where every step forward is an act of rebellion against the weaker version of yourself, where every day becomes a chance to sculpt your future with intention instead of letting life decide for you. Because here is a truth most people can't handle. You can't build a powerful life with a powerless mindset. You can't expect extraordinary results from average habits. And you cannot become who you want to be while clinging to the comfort of who you were. Something has to give. Something has to fall away. Something has to be sacrificed. Maybe it's your old routine. Maybe it's your fear of failure. Maybe it's the opinions of people who don't even live lives you admire. Maybe it's the belief that you're not ready. Because here's the reality. You aren't supposed to be ready. You're supposed to begin. Greatness is never aligned with comfort. It is aligned with courage. And courage is built through repetition, through showing up even when your hands shake, through trying again even when your past whispers you've failed before, through refusing to let your doubts dictate your destiny. Look at your life as it stands right now. Even if it's not where you want it to be, even if it's messy or complicated or uncertain, it is still proof that you survived things people never saw.
You fought battles that didn't leave scars on your skin, but left marks on your soul. Yet, you're still here. Still standing, still moving, still trying. Do you understand what that means? It means you are unbreakable in ways you haven't even realized yet. It means you've already lived through days that were harder than the days required to change your life. It means you have already endured the weight of things far heavier than discipline. Discipline isn't punishment. Discipline is the strategy that frees you. Discipline is the structure that protects you. Discipline is the architecture of your future. The world will try to tell you that freedom means doing what you want. But the wise know the truth. Freedom comes from controlling yourself, not from indulging yourself. And that's the path you're on now. A path most will never step onto because they fear the responsibility that comes with power. But you're different. You wouldn't be listening to this if you weren't. So keep going, keep pushing, keep shaping your identity with every choice you make. Because the moment is coming, the moment where everything you've been working toward collides with everything you were meant to become. And when that moment arrives, it won't be luck, it won't be fate, it will be the quiet, unstoppable force of a person who refused to quit. You're not done, you're just getting warmed up.